attorneys. He named everybody involved in this thing. And I hereby declare that these people are corporations and they do not exist. They're a fiction. And she sat down. And the judge looked at that and she said he had such a pained look on his face. He looked at that attorney and he said, "Sir, you don't know how much I'd like to give you this summary judgment, but I can't. This lady keeps her house and she's dismissed from bankruptcy." You see, that's where they have us. They have us as dead people. And we're going around here acting like dead people, when we need to start understanding who you are. You're created, a living soul. How can anyone on this earth tell you that you're dead? Who can say that? You mean somebody else can declare something over you? You mean the Creator said, "Hey, I'm going to create this one superior. I'm going to give him a name." This is what's got us all screwed up. We give everybody titles. We call him judge and we think he's somebody. We call him preacher and we think he's somebody. We call him attorney. My God, he's in that big building downtown. And he pays $20,000 a month for rent on his place. And he's got this $4 million house out here in the neighborhood. He's got to be somebody. And I'm nobody. See? And this is the attitude that we've taken. Titles have killed the American people. You know, captain of the football team. The rest of the guys on there don't amount to anything. The captain's the only one. Well, he's a star running back. See, his title is star running back. Well, what happens to all them other guys? They become nothing. They're just part of that. We put titles on people. Doesn't take anything away from being a good running back, but he's just one of the 11 on that team that happens to be out on the field. And the same thing with all these other people. Why do you go to people and say, "Hey, I want you to figure this out for me," when you can do it just as well as they can, and you got your own interest at heart? Most people have what at heart when you come around and want them to do something for you? Your pocketbook. They look around the back of you and they see it's pretty fat and they say, this guppy has come by and I'm going to live good. And, honey, let's go out to eat tonight. We're going to eat steak. You know, this is what it's all about. It's about money, greed. You're going to get your money because I have a title and you came for me. And the funny thing, I talked to my youngest son, who's with a huge company. As far as I know, it's huge anyway. It's the largest in the world of whatever they're into. And I don't even get into it with him, what they're into. It has something to do with health and all that stuff. But he and I don't talk about that. But in talking to him, he understands everything I understand. And he said, "Dad, I don't let any of them handle my money. I don't let brokers handle my money." He said, "I make all my investments myself." And he said, "I'm like you. I'd rather lose if I bet on a horse. I want to be the one to give the money. Because I give the money to that guy and tell him to go bet on the horse. He might tell me he bet on the horse, on this horse, but he really bet on this and he won a lot of money and said, 'Your horse lost.'" And this is what's happening to us. When it comes to money, there is no honor. They'll lie to you in an instant if they can keep some more of it. So he tells me, he said, I don't let anyone. I've never let people. And so he said, when the market was going up real good, he said, I invested all my little investments every day and I made a lot of money on it. Then I noticed it was fixing to go down. So I started selling short. And I made a lot of money when it was going down. And then it's got into this situation it's in now, and he said, I don't get in there at all. Because you're really taking a chance, he says, because this thing can go up or go down. You can't bet, you can't go short, you can't bet it's going up. But all I'm telling you is that you have to come to the point to make your own decisions about who you are. And someone asked me tonight, said, you mind if we take your tapes and start another group over and so? And I said, have at it. You're a free man. I am not up here trying to control anyone. It really angers me when someone comes with that attitude to me. I have no control over you whatsoever. I'm trying to teach you to start controlling yourself and doing everything for yourself. I can tell you that, and Larry will tell you, this has gone everywhere in this country. It is everywhere. Detroit, it's gone to the coast, it's gone to Connecticut. People, and they think they're the only one up there. They'll say, I got your tapes and I'm listening to them, and I'm the only one in Connecticut. Nobody else even thinks about this, you know. And then all of a sudden they run into somebody else. And after a while they got a little group. Now the thing starts spreading. And it's all over North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida. It's all over California. It is tearing California to pieces. Oregon, it's there, and in Washington, the man called me and he's supposed to fly down here to me. I don't know why he wants to fly down. He can get the tape from Larry, because they'll say the same thing I'll say to him when he comes down here. You know, and that's what I'm saying. That's what this thing, and that was we've had people over here that come over from Louisiana to the meetings, from Mississippi, from Tennessee, had a whole big group come down from Nebraska, and so I told this man, I said, now a guy called me tonight from Canada, and he's coming down Sunday, and he said, we need to get all this stuff and get going. We got tons of people up here that's losing their houses and stuff, and so we need to find out about this. And I said, well, Saturday and Sunday, and it just so happens that this Saturday and Sunday I have off. But for 8 Saturdays and Sundays in a row, I was going somewhere. And so that kind of got to be get 20 calls over at the office, and I come home at night, and if somebody's kept me out late, there's 20 calls on the phone at night, and some people go to bed early, and but I've learned I just go ahead and call, and if I get their little voice deal, I just tell them I called. You can call back if you want to, but you know, but it just got that way. But it's kind of straightening out now. And we were involved in this thing that I told you about the last time about the law. And it was funny. Ed came to me and he said, "Man," he said, "you told people that," he said, "must be half your group's out of jobs." He said they all came. He said they kept me here late last time. And he said, and then you started hollering at me and telling me to come on. And they're wanting to give me their names so they can get into this. And so, but we're getting that finally put together to where people can use it and make a good living, because the air conditioning part of it is such a phenomenal product. I've had it for 2 years. But I never could get this guy. We just couldn't seem to get anybody, you know, to the point that we went out and did this. And now it's starting to help. But this one lady, he said, told me tonight he put it in her car today, and it took the temperature in her car down to 8 degrees. And that's cold. And so then he put it in the house, and it'll drop your temperature in your house way down to where it'll cut your electricity about 40%. And I've never seen it fail. It has worked every time. There's a guy here, I'll tell you, his name's Don, sitting over there. You can go talk to Don. I'll stick you on him tonight. But anyway, there's a whole lot of things going on, and all I'm telling you, in all of this, of all the people in it, it's people who are seeking freedom. And when they're seeking freedom, all of a sudden these other things come along. And so this thing is, if you don't have a job, this is a good thing to get into. It's very easy. You'll be supplied the kit and all that other. It's very easy to do. But that's just a side issue with what we're doing and what we're here. If you read this paper, and it tells you, gives you the instructions and what the paper is about. Because I was told, and I don't want anyone leaving here tonight and saying, well, why didn't he tell us, why didn't he go over this paper and tell us what it's all about? Number one, most people don't take notes. So what they're doing is sitting here listening, and they walk out of here. It doesn't matter if I explain it or not. They're going to forget because it's the first time they've seen it. And so you just can't retain. And over the years I found that out. If you get the tapes, you can listen to those over and over. I've had people to tell me they got the book and they read it. One guy said, I read it 5 times, and after the 5th time, all of a sudden it hit me what this was all about. And so you have to continually go over it. There's nobody can grasp anything just right now. What happens usually with documents and things that are given to me and information and stuff, I've been through this so much and have helped so many people that what happens is that this document comes in and all of a sudden it fills in one more void in what is going on. And we've been through, for a long time, we've been fighting this thing, and I've told people for a long time, I've gotten crosswise with a lot of people who are very, very smart when it comes to understanding or thinking they're understanding the law, that they can quote you, where they can't do this to you and they can't do that to you, and yet they do it. And I say, you're telling me, well, I use their law against them. I said, when has it worked? It doesn't work. I've never seen you use somebody's law against them and they say, oh my God, you got me there. Why? You're using a third party. Why are they going to let a third party get involved in your affairs? You come up there and quote them, well, Roe versus Wade, they say that has nothing to do with you. Well, it's the same thing, no, but it didn't have anything to do with you. Why are you quoting that to me? That's literally what they're saying to you. You're quoting me, my law? Who are you? You're bringing this third party called the law in, and it's funny even in religion. You're talking to somebody about your faith, and all of a sudden they bring a verse out of the Bible, and you say, wait a minute. That's the third party. You can't bring that into this discussion. Well, that's what all this is about. No, that isn't what we were talking about, though. You see, you bring a third party in. Not allowed. No third party is allowed in conversation between you and somebody else. The instant a third party, you ever been talking to somebody and it's a real amicable conversation, you're getting along well, you're discussing, you're agreeing, and then all of a sudden this third party comes up, and the next thing you know, you and him are fighting, and the third party turns around, snickers, and walks off. Because what he did is brought a third party argument into the thing, and it destroyed whatever y'all had. It's like saying but. But destroys everything when you use that in conversation. Well, I agree with you on everything you said, but, and what they're saying, that's the old Hegelian dialectics, yeah, I agree with you, but, and then that erases everything you said. And now you go on and say what you're going to say. So the document is, as I told you, it was done by Ed Branham, and he and I went over this thing, and Ed didn't know how to spell, and so anyway, we changed it, and it's so funny. He sent me a contract, and it has to do with that oil thing, but he said, I got about 6 emails in a row, and it says, I made a mistake on the last one, so I said, okay, I'll print this off. I got to the next one, this is about 2 minutes later, and what he was doing, he'd say 610 on 6-2. And he was telling me at the time he was doing it, and he said, okay, 612, I found another mistake. Now this is it. I redid that thing 6 times. Finally, I got the last one, and it was the one that he wanted me to have. But anyway, Ed came up with this, and we went over it, changed it, and sent it back to him, and he changed it some more, and we changed it, and finally came up with this document. Now, there's one in here from this lady who used this, and she put some very good thing in there where she put agent acting as any county corporate governments et al., and agents acting as any municipal corporate governments et al. And she tells me in there she corrected the spelling and the punctuation, and people like to do that. I don't care. You see, whatever, however I speak, that's the way it is for me. And if you want to take it and redo it, that's your prerogative to do so. And there's no animosity. I don't care if that's the way you think, and that's the way you should think, because you understand it that way. That's what's wrong with us, is we start trying to take somebody else's stuff and start trying to put it into our on our picture scale, and we all paint a little different picture. We come up with the same thing, but because we think different, we're all different. I mean, it's that simple. We're all different, and so when you get any of these documents and you think a comma should go in here, it shouldn't go in here, then put it in. You're not hurting me, and you're sure not going to make me mad. If you want to use this and do anything you want to do with it, as I tell people, I give them that book. My name is not on that book anywhere. Now, I came up with all that stuff, but it came from various and different places. Why should I put my name on and try to claim it? See, it belongs to everybody. And so they say, well, I want to, you got all this and this and this. I said, it's your book. What are you talking to me about it for? Change it. Well, you don't bother you? I said, I don't care. You can go and change it anyway. If I cared, I'd just be mad, and you'd be off over there giggling because you changed it anyway. But the issue is, these are yours. Anything that you're given, what did I tell you? When I offer you something and you take it, who does it belong to? It belongs to you. So take it then and correct it and do whatever you want to. If you're like Rodney in The Wizard of Oz and you get hung by your feet, then holler at me and I'll say, if you change something. But old Rodney's always calling the king shorty. And every time he does, the next picture he's hanging by his feet in the jail cell. He's always making that mistake. But really, on these things, she's made some very good additions to it. She didn't change the document. She just made some good additions to it. So you do the same thing. And she put those were important to her, those last two. Now, we look on there and we see state of Texas, state of New Mexico, state of Colorado, state of Wyoming, state of Oklahoma, and state of Kansas. Why do we do that? Because they belong to us. They belong to the Republic. And so we're just letting them know. And that's what she did. She told them she belonged to the Republic. Colorado, she's in the part of Colorado that belongs to us. And she told them. They didn't deny it. They're over there now, New Mexico is fighting with the state of Texas. State of New Mexico is fighting with the state of Texas and telling them that they have, 600 and some odd thousand acres of land that belongs to New Mexico. And then we sent them a deal and we said, no, you have 23 counties that belong to the Republic. Now that's really going to get into a three-way deal. Because these two states, these two corporations are fighting over something that don't belong to them. And then we come in, we say, by treaty, that's ours. You never had that to begin with. You promised to pay us, and you didn't pay us, so give us the land back. That land belongs to Texas, and it belongs to the Republic. Had something last week. I went to a graduation down in Belton. Belton High School was graduating. They had 400 eager little beavers waiting to. They were told the same thing. The world's been waiting for you from the time you was born. Now go out there and get them, boy. They are waiting for your brilliance. What they don't tell them is behind that curtain is a buzzsaw, and as soon as you go out there, it starts chewing you up. But they don't tell them that. They let them think that the world is waiting on them, and that's good. But they had a Pledge of Allegiance ceremony, and on both sides of the stage they had a Republic of Texas flag, but it had a yellow fringe around it, and it was hanging down from a mast. They had two United States flags horizontal with no yellow fringe. When they did the Pledge of Allegiance, they went and got the Texas flag with the yellow fringe around it and held it out for them to make their pledge to. And I thought, and I guess I probably don't want to caught that. but I sat there and I said, I can't believe this. And I believe what they were doing was make them pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, which they're saying that we own that. We're going to convince you that we own that Republic of Texas. But it's getting hot and heavy with them, so they're not going to own it very long. They don't own it now. They just think they do. And it says here, the reason for the documents: you now been declared dead and incompetent to handle any of your affairs without the representation of third parties. Think about your life and think what I'm telling you. Third parties have killed us and ruled us from the time we were born. And it says, this declares you alive and a sovereign and competent to handle all of your affairs. The firing of all third parties allows you to manage and handle all of your affairs as you so choose. The third parties are then declared incompetent and will be committing a commercial crime of practicing law without a license if they proceed. The funny thing, this lady in California, I go out sometimes to California, I've been out there about 5 times to this one group, and they want me to come back. I don't have the time to go out. But anyway, this one lady, they'd been beating her to a pulp. I mean, just threatening her and doing everything to her. And she told this guy, she said, I'm so tired of this. He said, well, are you really tired enough to do something? She said, yes. So he told her about all this. So she goes into court, and he said, it's so funny, he said the attorney was about 6'6" and very belligerent, very nasty to her. And said she just all of a sudden, he was really haranguing on her about something. She just turned around, she said, sir, are you addressing me? If you think you're representing me, you're fired. And she said his whole countenance just fell down to the floor. And he just sat down in his chair and didn't say another word. So it does work, and so they're doing this all the time out there. There's so many things going on that, and am I telling you this works every time? No, because I don't know what people do. I don't know you don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know how far they're willing to go to try to convince you, but sometimes it does not work. And I'm not telling you every time it does, because people are different and they're different. And so you're going to get different answers from different people. But it is where we are. And what is important with this document? So your power of attorney for your straw man and your copyright of your straw man. The power of attorney is more important in this case than the copyright. The copyright is simply to clobber somebody if they use your name. But the power of attorney gives you the right. And this power of attorney, we've had it for a long time, did not know that this almost matches verbatim with the power that they call it a durable power of attorney that's listed in the probate statutes that says that you can give your power of attorney for this straw man to anyone. It does not say you can only give it to an attorney. But the thing is almost verbatim. And so it's a good document, and what it does, it gives you the power to act on behalf. You're now representing the straw man, and since he's representing you in commerce, you're not going to clobber him. You're going to take care of it, and you're going to try to keep him under control. He goes over there and he goes wild spending your money, and then they all of a sudden come to you and say, hey, the straw man's been over here and he's got all these things, these debts lined up, and we want you to pay. And you say, well, I don't have anything to pay with, but I'll issue you some credit. And so therein lies the issue in all of this is this money system. An offered document received from this day forward, and simply write diagonally across, I have received your offer and I accept it as true. I am returning your offer for discharge and closing this matter. You are ordered to return all papers regarding the matter to me within the 3-day period. Attach your power of attorney, copyright, your competency and incompetency document to their offer and return it to them. Make a copy always for the sheriff, governor, and if about taxes, the controller. Controller in Austin controls all the taxes, the property taxes. He's in charge. Carol Keaton Strayhorn. I always like to keep calling her Rylander because she got married and she wants you to call her Strayhorn. But I write to her as Rylander. That was her name. So just something to irritate her. Then this document here, notice for competency and incompetency, revocation of power of attorney, and firing all persons below, and demand to cease and desist. And here's old Jackrabbit Patriot again. He's back into the picture. Anyway, that's your name. I don't know why some people take these documents and they turn it on that they turn them in with Jackrabbit Patriot on there. They really do. And they wonder why why it don't work, and so anyway, change that to your name, to your upper and lowercase name. And we're putting on here Irving, Republic of Texas. We put that on all of our documents we write to anybody. You do what you want to. You can put on there Irving, Texas, and you put the little zip codes you want to, whatever. I suggest you put it in brackets. To all agents, administrators acting as third-party persons. Equality under the law is paramount and mandatory by law. I am competent to handle my own affairs. The sovereign cannot be tried in his or her court. You realize when you take that court over, how in the world is anyone going to try you? You can't be tried in your court. You can have a tort action brought against you. But once you do this, you can never be charged with a crime again. A crime is a corporation crime. In other words, it's something that the corporation files against you. They can never file a crime against you again. Why? Because you've declared yourself sovereign. They can file a tort action against you, and that's when you've hurt somebody else. A sovereign can have a tort action filed against him, but he can't have a crime. Now, he may have committed a tort against another human, and he's brought in the common law court, and then the jury will decide what he did and what to do to him. And then you say, I'm accepting all documented matters as recorded by the below listed present or future with the person named Jack R. Patriot, with your copyright symbol beside him, or any other derivative, and everything in them as true. I am returning all documents. So you don't want to start arguing with them about what they filed on you in the past. You want to accept it as true and go on. See, your life will be a whole lot easier. I am returning all documents recorded past, present, and future matters to you for discharge and closure. And then, yes. Okay. All right. And you say it's time to start.
No, sir.
Oh, you were doing for him. Okay.